So this video was supposed to be about the stuff that I'm getting from that nice lady at work, but since she is sick, I'm not actually getting it until later. So I thought I would make, I thought I would make a video talking about how I saw one of my spirit guides. It was, and I have to say up front, the only reason I'm talking about this is just because I'm kind of the type, if something supernatural happens, I want to keep it to myself because, you know, people always assume if you have anything too supernatural happen to you that you're either nuts or on drugs. And I've heard people talk on here where they're like, I had this amazing spiritual experience, and you're like, oh, you're like, that's great. And they're like, I was on LSD at the time, and you're like, it's okay. Well, this wasn't anything like that. I also am not nuts. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I remember going through a really tough time. It was back in 2018. I was going through my spiritual awakening, and yeah, and it was when I was going to bed, and it was like August or September of 2018. And what happened was I think the reason I saw it is because I was going through a tough time, so they were just letting me know that they were there. And the thing is, I didn't even believe in spirit guides, so it's not like I was manifesting what I believed. Like, I genuinely didn't. I would hear people talk about their spirit guides, and I was like, oh, that's cute. They think squirrels are watching them. I'm normally nicer than that, but I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah, and the reason I wanted to bring it up is so you guys know that you're not actually alone. Even if you're like going through hell, like you're really not alone. So that's why I bring this up. And I think the other reason it happened was just because so that it's like they know the future that you planned out before coming here, so they know they knew that I was going to make a YouTube channel, so somebody gets helped by this. So that's the reason I bring it up. I don't feel any piety over it or anything like that. And other people have seen stuff like this, or similar, or other stuff. So yeah, anyway, now I got that out of the way. So it was, yeah, it was back in 2018. I was in an abusive marriage, and I was getting ready to go to bed. And I was like laying there, and then it's like it wasn't dark, but it wasn't light either. It was kind of sort of a sunset, but not. And then all of a sudden, like I look up, and there's just this thing above my bed, like hovering, and it wasn't a spaceship type of thing. It was I want to call it an orb because people like mention these things, but mine was shaped different and it was bigger. Mine was bigger. I didn't mean it like that, but so it was this thing, and it's kind of hard to describe the shape. It was big. It was like I don't know how big. It's like smaller than a basketball but bigger than a baseball, to give you an idea. So it was this clear thing, but it's like you could see through it. It was clear, but it had a definite outline. And it was like, the shape was like, it's like it wasn't apple shaped, but it wasn't teardropped. It was its own shape. And it had like this pastel rainbow that like ran through the middle, and like I was staring at it for like a little bit, and I was like, is that really there? Like for quite a bit, and I was like, that's really freaking there. So I was a little startled, so I sat up, and then it disappeared when it saw that I was a little freaked out. And so I Googled, I was like, well, I wonder what this is. And I that's when I discovered the whole orbs thing. I had heard of them, but like I was looking up the colors, the different symbolisms, but I couldn't find the one that I saw, and mine was shaped different. So I was like, and I was racking my brains, but then I eventually just went to sleep because I was like, look, there's like, if you can't find the answer and you need sleep, you just go to bed. And it disappeared when it saw I was afraid, and it looked really celestial, so I was like, the fact that it respected the fact that you were kind of a little startled and it disappeared is a good sign. It wasn't sitting there preying on your fear. So, yeah. And I saw two YouTubers where you see like these little orbs. Like one of them could have been light or an orb. The other ones, she had like actual freaking orbs floating around. And I wasn't the only one who saw them. Other people in the comments are going, "Oh my God, what the heck?" and stuff. I think it's either angels taking on like this little like pretty shape form, or it's like spirit guides or whatever. Because later when I did an actual meditation, to meet your spirit guides, I saw a few things, but I saw this like pastel rainbow kind of ripple through these waves of colors, and it kind of got the impression that was one of my guides. I don't know like anything about it, its name or anything, but yeah. So I just wanted to tell you guys about that because they're definitely real, and I hope it's okay if I like have a sucker. I'm excited. But yeah, they do really sweet things. I mean, you should always trust your intuition first and foremost. Like you can get through life even if you don't like aren't aware of them or whatever. Yeah, it's fine. But it's really cool because they do these really sweet things, but they also give you guidance and stuff. Like I have this heart confetti because like my ex's sister, she'd throw heart confetti in everybody's cards, so I have tons left over that just like fell on the floor and stuff. And so sometimes like the heart confetti moves around the house. I mean, it's happened in a natural way, but like it's happened in like it's happened in some not so natural ways too, like stuff actually moving around. Um, there was this one time where I felt kind of bad about myself. You know, everybody has bad days, and there was like this little heart on this dress in my closet. Like one of the confettis was in there, and then it fell, and then I went to catch it, and then there's a pile of those hearts in the closet, and they weren't there before, but stuff like that, or I'll put stuff in a pile, and then it'll move later, and my son wasn't there, but it's just like, it's really cool, and, oh, it's not the cherry one, it's chocolate, and, oh, God, I love chocolate, but not fake chocolate. Oh, God, I really wanted a sucker. Um, oh, God. So, yeah. Um, uh, what was I saying to say? Yes. And then there was another time where I was kind of down, and I was doing tarot, and this lady, sorry about that, sucker. This lady was sitting there, and she was quiet, like channeler. She was quietly listening, and this was a general reading, but it was from that day. And then she's like, somebody needs to write. She's like, and she's like, your guides want you to know you're beautiful. Your book is perfect the way it is. You don't need to change anything about it or about you. And just this really sweet stuff, and it was so touched because it was clearly meant for me. And I was like, oh, because I love to write. But yeah, they do sweet things like that. Like they'll use angel numbers, tarot. You just have to use discernment, because most of the time it'll be your guides coming through, but every once in a while you might get like a message that doesn't apply, or you might get something that something else trying to come in, like to make you feel bad about yourself or screw you up. But that's incredibly rare, and you just use your discernment. What else? But they also, but it's not just comforting, sweet stuff, like, oh, one more thing I have to say, though, is, like, my person's higher self is really sweet and does stuff with the heart confetti, too, like, I always check the bed every night for spiders, like the pillows and the beds and like everything like perfectly, so there weren't any hearts in there. And then and then I'd go to sleep, but then I'd wake up and there'd be like little heart confetti on my bare thigh, things like that, really sweet. um yeah, but they also obviously give you guidance like through numbers and other stuff. Recently, because they've really been driving it home that I should like focus on the stuff that I want to do, like the writing and YouTube and stuff like that. But it's really hard when you're raising a kid by yourself, and like commuting, basically. Like, all this stuff to where it's like, it's just hard to find the time. But yeah, like, they're really, like, before I even was thinking about that stuff, like, it was like, oh, you sure you like your job? It's like, yeah, I like my job. And then there were problems at work, and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. Gossips and passive-aggressive people. And then it was kind of like, after a while, I was like, and I just kept thinking about, like, all the stuff that I wanted to get to that I never got to, and it was really starting to bother me. And then the messages got more blunt, like, you know, talking about your job. It's like, does this really satisfy you? Is this really what you want to do with your life? It's like, is this healthy and fulfilling? I'm like, wow, jeez, guys. And I was doing the dishes, listening to, like, this Steve Harvey video where he's talking about his success, and it gets to the part, it was around the part where he's at a comedy thing before he was famous with some girl, and then somebody couldn't show or whatever, so they were gonna call up the amateurs, and they called his name, but he thought somebody else had his name. And then the girl's like, no, that's you. Well, at that part, like, the dishwasher lights, like, flicked on and off, and the lights, like, flicked on and off. And I was like, huh, the power must be out. But just for a second, so I kept listening, and then it happened again, but it was, like, on and off, and then that was it. And I was like, huh, I wonder if that's a, you know, supernatural thing. So I looked at the clock, the time on the clock. I think it was either the time on the clock or the timestamp. I think it was the time on the clock. And then they're like, the messages are like, you're not actually focused on your life purpose, your soul mission. It's like, you're just doing everything else. You need to focus on that. I'm like, I know. It's like, I just need more time. So, yeah, stuff like that. Or if you're ruminating about stuff, you know, you might get a little tug. You might feel them touching your cheek or your arm. That happens sometimes. Or, like, I felt like a tug on my hoodie, but it didn't catch on anything because I was in the middle of the room. And then I, like, looked at the time, and then the message was like, stop your self-defeating attitude. And I'm like, okay. So, yeah. But honestly, it's like, it's kind of weird because it's like you do horoscopes in the very beginning and it's like, oh my god, they're accurate, and then they stop being accurate. Like, that's weird. And then it's like you get into other stuff like the numbers, and those are still accurate. And tarot's usually accurate, but honestly, I don't do it that much anymore. It's kind of like if I go by my intuition. It's like if I feel an intuitive pull toward it, it's like, then I'll be like, oh, that one's for me, and then I'll do that one. But otherwise, it's kind of like I know where I'm going and what I want, so I don't really need as much guidance. I still do the numbers, though, because I like to... It's like they've done a lot for me, and they're like family, so yeah, I like to keep some line of communication open. And it's still nice hearing from them and stuff. But yeah, that's just a few examples. I don't want to go into every supernatural experience. I don't want to weird anybody out. It's not like, you know, yeah, it's not creepy stuff. It's just really neat stuff. Yeah. I really wanted to sucker. I'm disappointed in it. But guys, I got this cup and it's so cute. Look. It's a little bee. It's adorable. I got it because, like, it makes me think of this song. Like, it was kind of like a message from my person's higher self before. It's this little honeybee song. And it was this beautiful song, and it was really fitting. But then a couple days later, I realized that, when I first heard that song, like, I was wearing, like, this, mustard yellow cardigan and these black pants, so in retrospect, I was like, I looked like a little bee. It was so cute. So yeah, I thought that was funny. But anyway, yeah. So the video is just to let you guys know that you're not alone. It's not to freak anybody out. It's just if you if you want guidance, it's like they're there, and there's beings looking out for you. And I'm going to be coughing, so I need to get off of here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.